Let's get reaction now from former Democrat Pennsylvania Congressman Patrick Murphy and Wall Street Journal editorial board member Bill McGurn. And I salute you too, Patrick. And let me go to you first, Patrick. I want to just focus in for a second on the younger voters, because a lot of people presume that they would be going for Biden, going Democrat, but he is bleeding a lot of support among the among the 18 to 25-year-olds. He's losing it to Trump, even though he's trying to cater to them by the student debt loan forgiveness, et cetera. Why do you think he's losing the young vote right now, Biden?
Well, David, I think, listen, I just came from the Wharton Business School where I'm a lecturer, and I asked my class, because knew I was going to come on with you, and really, it's about, they are a jump ball because they want to make sure that our country's moving in the right direction. They care about the stock market, that it's at an all-time high, but they're not investing in it yet. They don't see it. So, they're saying, what's in it for me? And what's in it for them is there's 77,000 of them that now have their student loans forgiven under President Biden. What's in it for them is an all-time low record unemployment rate. So when they go into the workforce, they have good paying jobs. And also, when you look at things like investments in like the CHIPS Act, David, the CHIPS Act itself, just that one piece of legislation, which was bipartisan under President Biden, when it was passed, we've already had $2/3 of $1 trillion in private investment, not government investment, private investment.
Man,
that is a huge deal.
Patrick, you're ignoring the fact that there were billions and billions of dollars spent on that CHIPS Act. I know it was bipartisan, but there was a lot of government that went in. But Bill, as much as I love Patrick, he didn't answer the question why it is that Biden is leading those young voters. It kind of reminds me of Biden kind of pandering to the Latino vote with his open border policies that turned out Latin voters didn't like the fact that we had open borders.
Yeah, I think they don't feel secure in the economy. And if you look at the protests over the Israel policy, I'm of the faction that thinks Joe Biden's been too soft regarding Israel. He's backed down from his initial strong support. But the wild card here is that all those protesters, now carrying genocide Joe signs and everything, you would think they'd be RFK voters. But RFK has been very strong on Israel. It's not well known. His vaccine stand is far more known. But I don't know what they're going to do when they find out their progressive hero is very strong on Israel. That seems to be something in Joe Biden's favor. Yeah. As for Nikki Haley voters, Nikki Haley campaigned as a conservative Republican. She got a lot of votes that were independent and Democrat that I assume already were kind of Biden voters. Right. I don't know that this new push is going to change everything.
Patrick, I'm going to give you another crack at this young voters situation, because we went back to 1984. 1980, Ronald Reagan did not win a majority of the young voters. But in 1984, when people had a chance to compare, young people to compare his policies on tax cuts and regulatory cuts, he got 61% of the young voters. Do you think the same thing is happening right now? You mentioned how much the young folks you deal with are interested in economic prosperity, and they don't see that prosperity right now because of what's happened with inflation and regulations. Maybe they are going more conservative.
And I think that they're in play, and that's what I said. But I do think at the end of the day, it is the economy. It's like what U.S. Marine James Carville once said, it's the economy, stupid, right? And so I think that job growth and other things are really positive that will get them back into the fold for President Biden. But I will say, and I agree with Bill's point, I do think what's going on with Israel and the Hamas war right now is a big deal, and people care about it. And when you have a Republican congressman like Tim Walberg last weekend said, let's do a Nagasaki, Hiroshima, let's just flatten Gaza, that is not the right answer. That's not what young Americans, that's what not most Americans don't want that. We have big hearts and strong minds and strong fists, but we don't want to see millions of people be decimated in a nuclear attack like that.
Final question for Bill, and it's got to be quick, Bill. The president, we just heard him say, people don't want negativity. What do you call calling Trump voters Nazis, if not negativity?
Yeah, I mean it's
what's
ridiculous. Biden gave a whole speech outside Independence Hall where basically he villainized the millions of people on the other side. I think he's been one of the most negative presidents in office. He completely turn on his post-election speech when he called for healing, reaching across for our fellow Americans, and now he wants to pretend that he's not about that. I don't think that people buy it. On the economy, same thing. I think people feel they've been gaslighted on the economy, told how good it is, how inflation is not really a problem. Then they go buy a $9 box of Cheerios. I don't think it's working.
Well, we have the same candidates probably running in November, but this time Biden has a record, so people are going to vote on his record. Gentlemen, we've got to leave it at that.